Thank you, Hollywood Reporter, for having this space for us. We don't get a lot of space in this industry, so this is really a beautiful room to be a part of. I'm going to keep it short because I get so, people think I'm a good public speaker. I really am not. I get so uncomfortable. I'm sweating. My spank is too tight. And I feel like every time you get on a stage like this, people expect you to say something really important. But I'm not that profound or deep. And all I can do is share with y'all my experience, which I do think is important. Everybody sharing their experiences on the panel before us, they're so valuable. What we've been through is so valuable. So it feels weird to accept a Trailblazer award because there's so many women specifically who've led the way before me. So if anything, I'm just, continuing down that trail that's already been made. Patricia Riggin, Patricia Cardosa, Linda Mendoza, Ava DuVernay, Patty Jenkins. I'm also not sure about how I feel about the word Trailblazer because I grew up on a ranch in Texas where we literally blazed trails for the cows to go to the water. And I remember my dad would, I'd be like, Dad, didn't we do this like a couple months ago? Why can't we just use the path we burned before? And he's like, because it's overgrown and because we can't use the same path sometimes. And so it was hard. like we had gasoline and matches, truly blazing a trail is hard for cows. So I'm happy that even though I was an actual trailblazer on a ranch, that I'm being recognized for this in the media. I was a little confused, but I'm really grateful, like I said, to all the women who blaze a trail for me in Hollywood. It shouldn't be this hard. And sometimes I don't like the word because I don't understand, again, why we can't just use the other trails that have been there for so many other people. So the fact that we still have to do this to me is crazy because clearing these paths is exhausting. And I feel like we deserve a clear path. And why is the path clear for some but not all? And I personally want cleared paths to be, paved with the stones of the successes of my sisters in this industry so that the women that come behind us can just walk down this paved path. And so for anyone in this room in a position of power, please give us the space to focus less on the fight and more on the purpose of what we're doing, right? So quickly, I want to say a big thank you. I have to say a big thank you to Searchlight because, not just because they're here, but because, when I went in to pitch this movie, I had to go to Devon first and then Taylor and Zara. And there was all these steps and there were no comps for this movie. As Devon was saying, it was amazing that Searchlight was going to make this movie. And I was like, do they know what they're doing? Because we don't have a movie like this. And I remember when I was getting my pitch together, I was pulling all this inspiration that I had from so many places. And it was hard because I think the last studio film that we had was 20 years ago. And so as Jesse said, we don't, I always say this, we don't get a lot of bites at the apple. Latinos can't get a movie every 20 years. We are a moving going audience. You won't have a hit movie if you don't have the Latino audience today. And so the fact that a big studio like Searchlight was doing this movie, I was blown away. So I want to say thank you, Matthew and David, because I went in and did this crazy pitch and they let me make that movie. And they were like, wow, when they saw the final cut, you guys were like, this is the movie you pitched in the room 3 years ago. And so you guys allowed me to do that. You guys allowed me to have that space. And there was no trail to follow when we were making this movie. Devon and I really linked arms and we were like, what do we do now? And I remember calling my agent at the time, Rowena, who I I did the last pitch and she goes, "Are you nervous?" I said, "Oh my God, I'm so scared." And she goes, "Why?" And I said, "I'm scared I'm going to get the job and I'm going to have to do everything I just said I was going to do." And she's like, "You might get the job." And then I had lunch with Taika, which was so funny. And I was getting his advice. I was like, "Oh my God, I got this job and now I have to do all these things that I said I was going to do and I don't know how to do them and blah, blah, blah." And I was asking about his experience. And he said, "They didn't hire you for the things you don't know. They hired you for the things you do know." And so it was such good advice. I remember he told me, he's like, "There was equipment on my first Thor set that he didn't know what it did." And he said, "But they didn't hire me to know that." So he goes, "Why did they hire you?" And I know they hired me because my superpower is knowing my community. And so I was really, really grateful. Dan Tram and Taylor, who always gave great notes. They always said, Searchlight always said yes or yes, but they never said no. And now that we're in marketing mode, it's more of that. It's like, yes, but we this or we that, but they don't say no. And I was really, really lucky and to have them as my first film with such an amazing studio. As Devon said, this was like this amazing collaboration, and I was really lucky that they knew the trail wasn't blazed, but they gave me the tools. They were like, "We'll surround you. Here's the resources. Here's the people. Here's the ideas. Like, take what you need from us. Lean on us." And that was huge in making this movie, because I know I didn't do it alone. I couldn't have done it alone. But most importantly, I couldn't have done it without Devon Franklin. Who at every step of the way, he's like, "What do you need?" I said, "I really need my DP. Please help me go get it." And he went and he's like, "All right, this is the guy you want. We're going to go get him." And he fought every battle for me, which is what a good producer does. It's like solves the problems. We shot in Albuquerque and we're shooting, there's a location. I'm like, "I really want that location." And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go get it. We need Cheetos for all the machines." He's like, "Okay, we gotta go get them." So thank you, Devon, for just holding my hand through this whole process. Like, you're an angel. So I just wanna say June 9th, Disney Plus and Hulu. But no, there was many phone calls that Matthew called me for. The first one was when I got the job, and I was like, "Oh my God, there's so many things that have come out of Matthew and David's mouth that I can't believe." When I got the job, and then when the budget was so big and they came back and they called and they go, "We found the money for you." And I was like, "Oh my God, it's amazing." And then they called when we were getting released and they were like, "Great news, you're the first movie to be on Hulu and Disney Plus on this at the same time." Like, it's like unreal. You guys are amazing. And Michelle, the marketing genius of Searchlight, thank you so much, because she was like, "If we don't get this movie right, it's not a problem for you," which I carried that with me making the film. I was like, "We have to get it right. We have to get it right." So when we're finished and you turn over this baby to the studio, Michelle's like, "No, we can't get it wrong. Right? We cannot get this wrong. We can't have a movie about a marketing genius and not know how to market it." So thank you, Michelle, for all the work you've been putting in. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Hollywood Reporter. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.